Genesis 24. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and Jehovah has blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his servant, the elder of his house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by Jehovah, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou wilt not take a wife for my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife for my son Isaac. And the servant said unto him, Peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I need bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, Beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. Jehovah the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my native, and who spake unto me, and who sworn unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land. He will send his angels before thee. Thou shalt take a wife for my son from thence. And if the woman be not willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear for this my oath. Only thou shalt not bring my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sworn to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, having all goodly things of his master in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor. And he made the camels to kneel down without the city by the well of waters at the time of evening, the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, send me, I pray thee, good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the fountain of water, and the daughters of the men of the cities are coming out to draw water. And let it to come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee that I may drink, and she shall say, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink. Also let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast shown kindness unto my master. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel the son of Melechah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, and neither had any man known her. And she went down to the fountain and filled her pitcher, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, Give me to drink, I pray thee, a little water from thy pitcher. And she said, Drink, my lord. And she asked, and let down her pitcher upon her hand, and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw for thy camel also until they have done drinking. And she asked, and emptied her pitcher into the drought, and ran again into the well to draw, and drew for all his camels. And the man looked steadfastly on her, holding his peace, to know whether Jehovah had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden ring of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hand of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Melechah, who she bears unto Nahor. She said moreover unto him, We have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed his head and worshipped Jehovah. And he said, Blessed be Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, who hath not forsaken his loving kindness and his true towards my master. As for me, Jehovah hath led me in the way to the house of master Bethuel. And the damsel ran and told her mother house accordingly to these words. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the fountain, and it came to pass, when he saw the ring and the bracelet upon his sister's hand, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me. And he came unto the man, and behold, he was standing by the camels at the fountain. And he said, Come in, thou blessed of Jehovah. Wherefore statest thou without? For I have prepared the house and the room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded the camel, and he gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men that were with him. And there was set food before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told my errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Jehovah hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great, and he hath given him flocks and herds and silvers and gold and men servants and maidservants and camels and asses. And Sarah my master's wife bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife for my sons of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my father's house and to my kinder, and take a wife for my son. And I said unto my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, Jehovah, before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kinder, and of my father's house. Then shalt thou be clear from my oath, when thou comest to my kinder, and if they give her not to thee, thou shalt be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the fountain, and said, O Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I am standing by the fountain of water, and let it come to pass that the maiden that cometh forth to draw, to whom I shall say, Give me, I pray thee, a little from thy pitcher to drink, and she shall say to me, Both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camel. Let the same be the woman whom Jehovah hath appointed for my master's son. And before I have done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down unto the fountain and drew. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camel drink also. So I drank, and she made the camel drink also. And I asked her, and she said, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethel, Neron's son, whom Machir bare unto him. And I put the ring upon her nose, and the bracelet upon her hand, and I bowed my hand and worshipped Jehovah, and blessed Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter for his son. And now if ye will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceedeth from Jehovah. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as Jehovah hath spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed himself to the earth unto Jehovah. And the servant brought forth jewelry of silver and jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things, and they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing Jehovah hath prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel, and inquire at her mouth. And they called Rebekah, and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? She said, I will go. And they sent away Rebekah their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servants, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah, and said, Unto her our sister be thou the mother of thousands of tens thousands, and let thy seed possess the gates of those that hate them. And Rebekah arose and her damsel, and they rode upon the camel, and they followed the man and the servant that took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of Beelarom, for he dwelt in the land in the south. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the ever eventide, eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, there was camels coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she alighted from the camel, and she said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant said, It is my master. And she took her vow and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Genesis 24 is the Bible's masterpiece on providence, God guiding ordinary choices, characters, and timing to preserve the covenant line. It's also a chapter about mission boundaries, faithful delegations, and discernment through virtue, and a woman willing, yes, that carries history forward. Here's what God is saying through it. Abraham, endgame faith, promise must continue, but Isaac must not go back. Genesis 24, verse 1 through 9. Abraham is old and blessed, but one covenant concern remain. A wife for Isaac, so the promise continues. Why not a Canaanite wife? Abraham isn't doing ethnic superiority, he's guarding covenant integrity. The Canaanite culture in Genesis are portrayed as religious and morally corrupt, moving towards Genesis 15 in iniquity language, and later Israel's warning. The issue is fidelity to the God of the covenant. Do not bring my son back there. This is huge. Beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. Abraham refuses regression. God called him out. The promise is tied to this land. Isaac represents the future here. Abraham would rather risk no marriage than compromise the direction of God's calling. What God is saying, my promise advances forward, not backwards. Don't solve one problem, marriage, by portraying the trajectory of my call, the land/promise, the oath, under the thigh, covenant continuity, and holy seriousness. Genesis 24, verse 2 to 3. This strange gesture likely connects to bodily alignment, bodily lineage, seeds, covenant continuity, solemnity. It's essentially Abraham saying, this is about the future of the covenant family. Treat it as sacred. What God is saying, some decisions are not casual. They carry generational weight. The servant's prayer guidance is asked, but the test is about character. Genesis 24, verse 10 through 21. The servant prays at the well, send me good speed, show kindness. Then he proposed a sign. The woman who offers water and offers to water to the camel. This is not a random magic trick. It's a virtue test. Generosity, initiative, hospitality, work effort. 10 camels can drink an enormous amount. For Rebekah to say, I water them too, means she's not merely polite, she's extraordinary in service. And the text underlines her hast. She ran, drew for all his camels. What God is saying, when I guide, I often do it through the revealing of character. Look for covenant virtues, not just surface beauty or convenience. Before he had done speaking, providence that feels immediately. Genesis 24, verse 15. Before he had done speaking, Rebekah came out. Genesis is showing a kind of providence that feels like God met me mid-sentence. It's not saying every prayer will be answered that fast. It's saying God is capable of orchestrating so precise that the faithful recognize his hand. The servant held his peace to see whether the Lord had prospered the journey. Discernment is reverence, not impulsive. What God is saying, I can guide with precision, but discernment still watches quietly for confirmation. Worship in the middle of the process. Genesis 24, verses 26 through 27. The servant doesn't wait until the whole deal is signed. The moment the path becomes clear, he worships. Jehovah hath not forsaken his lovely kindness and his truth. That pairs loving kindness and truth is covenant language. The servant interprets its events theologically. God's character is showing through real-time guidance. What God is saying, my providence is meant to lead you to worship, not just to outcomes. Laba, gifts and negotiation. God will work through real human intuition. Genesis 24, verse 28 through 54. Laba noticed the jewelry. He Laba. But the key is that the servants tell the full story and root it in God's promise. Then the family says, the thing proceedeth from Jehovah. That remarkable, even this non-Israelite household recognizes divine direction, and the servant insisted, I will not eat until I have told my errand. His mission focus, he's not seduced by comfort. What God is saying, my purpose moves through normal human channels, hospitality, family consent, gifts, oaths, yet my hand is still the deepest cause. The turning point, Rebecca consents, I will go. Genesis 24, verse 55 through 60. They ask her directly, wilt thou go with this man? And she answers, I will go. This is one of the quietest, greatest yes moments in Scripture. Rebecca is not being dragged. She is choosing a future she hasn't seen, joining a promise she didn't originate, trusting the God who is guiding the story. The blessings they speak over her, mother of thousands, let thy possesses the gates. That echoes God's own covenant language, Genesis 22. The family unknowingly speaks covenant destiny. What God is saying, I advance my covenant not only through hierarchies, but through a woman's courage, willing obedience. Isaac in the field, covenant continuity is tender, not just transactional. Isaac is showing meditating or praying at eventide. He is not portrayed as a conqueror, but as a contemplative heron. Rebecca vows as ancient signs of modesty and covenant seriousness in marriage. Then Isaac loved her and was comforted after his mother's death. Genesis ends the chapter with love and comfort. Sarah's death left a wound. God's providence doesn't erase grief, but it brings real consolation through new covenant life. What God is saying, my providence is not cold machinery. I lead with tenderness, building families, healing griefs, and continuing promise through love. The main message of Genesis 24 in one sentence. God preserves the covenant line through quiet providence. Abraham sets holy boundaries. The servant prays and watches for virtues. Rebecca's extraordinary hospitality reveals her character, and her willing, I will go, carries the promise forward. And Isaac receives her in love, showing that God's great redemptive plan advances through ordinary decisions, faithful obedience, and covenant-shaped characters. Genesis 24.